Let's get started. Welcome to today's webinar, Getting Started with Presstacular. I'll now ask our presenter, Raj Kara, to introduce himself.
Thank you, Allison. Hi, everybody. My name is Raj Kara. You may have sat in on one of my other webinars in the past. I do lots of them for our partners, Autotask, Max Focus, Enable, many others. I have an engineering background myself, and I've built and sold a couple of technology companies. I'm one of the partners here at MailerMailer. Our webinar today is on a tool designed specifically for small and growing IT services companies. Presstacular empowers you to create your own IT blog and newsletter instantly using a library of pre-written articles. And depending on the content package you pick, you also get white papers, slide decks, infographics, and a lot more to stay at top of mind and show off your expertise, all without having to write any of the content. To grow your company, you have to spend time on your business, not just in your business. In your business, meaning doing the technical work that your clients hired you to do. Putting the time into working on your business has a direct impact on your growth. But that takes a lot of time. Marketing can be very time consuming. And instinctively, you probably know that you need to do it, but you may be putting it off or maybe ignoring it because it's not something that you enjoy, or maybe that you feel that you do well, or maybe you think you might not have the budget for it. Well, Presstacular is the relief for all of those marketing pain points. And today I'll show you how it works, how to use it to your advantage. Typically, here's how most sales call goes. Hi, I know we just met. Will you marry me? Well, what I mean by this is that too often we meet somebody and we try to find out very quickly if they have an IT services need, and then we try to sell them what we offer. IT services usually aren't cheap. I mean, they're not like $100 or $200 product. It's usually more expensive than that. And people need to get to know you before they make that commitment. When you think about it, it's just like dating. You want to get to know who you're getting involved with. I mean, you wouldn't just go up to somebody and say, hi, I know we just met. Will you marry me? That's just not how things work. Think about how you make buying decisions for your company. Here's how most people do it. They first become aware that they have a need, that there is a problem that they need to solve. But they don't jump from becoming aware about an issue to making a purchase. There's a few steps in between. It's almost like a dating process. They first try to educate themselves, and then when they identify good sources of education, that builds trust in their minds because they feel like that they're making an informed decision. And that's when they become ready to buy. People buy from those they trust. This also means that the process for selling IT services should focus on educating a prospect first. That builds the trust you need to make a sale. But who's got the time to do all this marketing? You know, the content development, the writing, the editing, doing a newsletter, formatting it, posting a blog. These are all components of a very good marketing plan, but really, who's got all that time to do it? Well, that's why we created Presstacular. It's like having a marketing department without the overhead, without the management headaches or the high cost. Even if you hired a writer to do all the work in-house, you'd still have to guide them, make sure that the work is technically accurate and so on. And that can cost several thousands of dollars a month. And that's just for a part-time person. Presstacular lets you do your IT newsletter, security alerts, white papers, blogs, instantly using this library of pre-written articles. And live reports will show you who's reading, who's clicking, and most likely ready for a sales call. It helps you stay top of mind so that you nurture your prospects. So when they become sales ready, they're going to think of you first. In other words, it helps you start marketing your business. It's very simple to use. Just click and use it. There's no writing required. Presstacular simplifies every part of your marketing. Here's a sample newsletter that Presstacular can make for you almost instantly. Now, this particular one took probably less than 2 minutes. You can even have Presstacular create your newsletter automatically so that you can launch a drip marketing campaign to nurture your contacts. So why start with an email newsletter? Well, according to the Direct Marketing Association, email has the highest return on investment of any type of direct response marketing. It's better than print marketing, even better than advertising. And this is based on research. They report that companies, on average, get a $43 return for every $1 invested. And notice they use the word invested, not spent. ROI is return on investment. Marketing is not an expense, it's an investment. So change your mindset on this and you'll start to grow your company because you'll see things as an investment. One of our clients, Joe Svoboda of the Miller Group, last year sent a note out about the Windows XP end of support. Within 20 minutes of him sending that email alert out about XP end of support, he had 7 PC orders and 15 requests for more information. He sent that email out on a Tuesday morning, and by Friday, he had closed $25,000 in new business. We start by creating templates for you. These are the custom branded designs that will incorporate your logo, your website's general theme, your color elements, and so on. Our goal is to help you reinforce your brand. We have really solid designers on staff that do this custom work so that you get off to a great start. The ones that you see here on the screen are some of our generic templates, and we customize these for you. We also set up a blog page for you that we call a Presto blog because it's generated instantly when you publish your newsletter. This is a 1-2 punch that gives you a push-pull approach to marketing, and that's the most effective. Push by email and pull from your blog. Here's some sample custom templates that we made for ourselves. We use our own tool to do our marketing. The Presstacular light bulb on the template indicates that it can pull Presstacular content. And it's important to note that we have templates that don't require our content. So if you use another email service like MailChimp or Constant Contact and you want to send out some type of alert or anything like that, you don't actually need that. You can send it just using our system. Here's a sampling of some of a wide variety of the other templates that we have to pick from. You can customize these very quickly, and we can show you exactly how to do that. So let's take a look at Presstacular itself. We're going to go ahead and log in, and you'll notice something real quick. As we go to the login button and you enter your login ID and password, everything is done through SSL. You'll notice the HTTPS on your web address bar. We also add in optionally a security PIN code. So some banks use this level of security where every time you go in, it rotates the letters corresponding to the numbers, makes it a little bit more secure. So let's go in and now do an entire month's worth of marketing. Here's the dashboard you get when you log in. Just click on Create Message and it will take you to your templates. Now we've created a handful of templates here. You just hover over one of them and select it. So I'll click on my demo newsletter template. And then you can type in your subject line. So maybe I want to send out my May newsletter. So we'll just say May ABC Company newsletter. You can set the sender address as well. It'll come out from you, or you can have multiple ones in case you wanted to send emails from different folks. The next thing that happens is it pulls up the actual template for you. Now, of course, this one looks like our templates. This has got our logo, our look and feel. Now, we would custom design one for you based on your company's logo and color elements and so on. Each of these dashed boxes is an editable area. When you click on Edit, you can change the content of that box. We would preset this for you based on some material that's on your website, such as the kind of services you do, or if you'd like to put in testimonial from clients, that's great too. Very easy to edit, works just like Microsoft Word. You can put in links. We can even add in social media icons to your newsletter if you'd like. This particular design is set up to have a mail merge tag built in. This will personalize the message so that the recipient gets a message that has their name in it, and in this case, their company name in it too. We find that personalizing messages increases response rates. This is a pretty good opening, so I'm going to just leave that one as it is. Now, it takes our writers anywhere between 5 to 8, sometimes longer, that many hours to write a good article. This includes coming up with what content to write about, what's going on in the industry in that particular month, and then doing the first draft, researching, second draft, so on. By the time it gets in here, it's a pretty polished article. We have IT journalists on staff that write the content. So if you were to write, let's say, a blog post a week, which is a good, healthy pace for a small IT company, just the writing time alone is 30 to 40 hours. And then on top of that, add in the time to do your newsletter. That could be another several hours. So maybe 40 to 50 hours to do your marketing. Well, Presstacular condenses that time down into literally minutes as opposed to hours. So we can even set up an auto-publisher feature that we have that will automate the process, so it really becomes extremely trivial for you to start doing your marketing. So I'm going to start the clock. I have 28 minutes past the hour on the clock right now. I'm going to see how long it takes me to do one full month's worth of marketing. So when I load in my template, all I need to do is go to these gray boxes to choose my articles. This is actually the magic of Presstacular. This is why people buy, small IT companies buy Presstacular subscriptions. When I click on Choose, it opens up a library of pre-written articles, all kinds of topics, things about budgeting, cloud, computers. Perhaps you're doing some Server 2003 end of support work, data backup, disaster recovery, all kinds of different topics. One of our most popular sections is on security. So let's say you wanted to use one of these articles, perhaps the one on training security conscious employees. I'll just click on Update, and it loads that article into my template. We'll just go in and select another one. Perhaps you want to put one up on cloud. So we've got a wide variety of articles here. The articles are designed to be read at a business level. So your clients who may not be very technical would not understand, why are you sending me something on how you configure Windows Server to do XYZ? I mean, that's why I would hire you, right? That's what you're the technical expert. But you want to send them information that's technical enough, but not overly technical. Technical to the point that they can make informed business decisions about their IT. And an article like this would be really handy. 3 reasons to drop your traditional IT infrastructure. Something like this can help them start to understand why they might want to consider your managed services. You can also create your own articles. So as I round out my newsletter by putting in the third one, if I selected create your own, this could put in a placeholder where I could put in my own article. You may not have the time for it, so let's just skip that for now. We'll just pick an article that we have in the library. Your account will start with 150 articles, and we add new articles every single month. Not a new one in every section here, but we do add new ones, and you'll just see them start to show up at the top, so you can pick new ones. But there's a very big library to start with, so you could just go for over a year without us even adding content and still have very timely information. So let's just go with the article I've got here at the top, 4 ways to boost your Wi-Fi signal. So now I'm completely done with the newsletter. And before I go on, I just want to take a quick glance at my clock again. I've got now 30 minutes past the hour, started about 2 minutes ago. So literally a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I am completely done with doing my company's newsletter. And the nice thing is, when you click on next to send it out, it goes through the process of posting it to a blog page that we host for you as well. So I'm going to click on next and show you some of the other features that we've got in here. So I go to the next page. I can see the subject line that I'd entered, the from address that the message will go out from, and then I can see a link to edit the message again or view it. I'm going to click on view here so I can see what this looks like. Here's what the actual message will look like when it goes out to someone's inbox. You'll have this as the from name, the subject line here, and we even set a safe width. All of our templates are designed to work across multiple email clients. So if your recipient has Outlook or Gmail or something else, we test our templates out to make sure that they work across those multiple browsers. And then we try to put it as a safe width, about 650 pixels wide, because a lot of people will have their email client opened up in a smaller window as opposed to their entire desktop. And you can see exactly how this newsletter will look. At the very bottom, you see some notes here about sender company, sender address. In the US, this is required by law to include that information, and our system will automatically embed that. It'll also put in the recipient's email address in case they that they had subscribed with a different address but wanted to unsubscribe and didn't remember. There's no headache of figuring out which address was subscribed. If I clicked on the view with live mail merge information, it would change these sections here to actually show me who would get that message and exactly how it would look like in their inbox. Let me just close that out for now. Another thing you can do is send a preview out. So if you needed to share your newsletter with a couple other people, you could just type in their email address and it'll go out to them before it goes out to your final list. There's a few other things you can do. I'm going to edit this newsletter because there's a lot more things you can change on this. We've got the articles kind of out of the box, just the way they are now. You can edit this. If I hover over the article, you'll see a little edit title, so I can make changes to the articles there. I can change the teaser, which is the intro section here for the newsletter, or I can even click on edit copy. And this opens up the full article. At this point, I can make all kinds of changes to it. You can say something like, we just completed a project on whatever you'd like to type in. It's a lot easier to edit something than it is to write it from scratch. And this allows you to put in a quick two-liner case study or anything else that you'd want to include to help customize that article to your business. You can reference things that are already on your site. So if you've got an article on disaster recovery or something related to mobile devices, you can just highlight those words and then click on the link button, and that'll link directly to those articles on your site. Another thing you can do is add in links to your contact form. So maybe you want to do something like contact us and we'll do a security assessment of whatever you want to write about. You can highlight the word contact us and go right to that contact form that's on your website. You can even pre-populate that with an email address so it'll get routed to you, and put in a subject and body to have people call you. I'm going to just cancel out of this, but that's how easy it is to edit the articles. Another thing you can add is images to your newsletter. When I hover over the article title, the little add image button will appear, and I can go to my account's image gallery. Now, your account will not come preloaded with images because we don't own the licenses to the images, but it's very easy to use. The one thing about images is that they're all different sizes. Now, if you went to a stock photo library like iStock Photo or Dollar Photo Club or Photolea, some of the other ones, they're very inexpensive to buy images, maybe about $1, $2 for an image. And you can upload those images directly into your Presstacular account and then use them as you need. But again, the images are all different sizes, and that can create a big formatting headache. So Presstacular knows that can happen, and it automatically accounts for it. When I click on select, it resizes the image. I could put in a link if I wanted to the image, even some alt text behind it, and then click on update, and it'll reformat it to fit that newsletter box. I can do that for any other images that I'd like to add to. So you can see how quickly I created an entire newsletter. Even after I made those changes, I'm just pointing and clicking. It's very, very simple to create your newsletter. And suddenly, instead of waiting for referral business to show up, you've now got a very professional newsletter, rock solid content that your audience will want to know about, things that are going to position you as a trusted IT resource. And then you'll be able to send this to your contacts like clockwork every single month. Very simple to use. When people receive your newsletter, they'll see this read more link to click on and then actually get more information about your content. So let's take a look at, I'm going to cancel out of this message and show you what this can look like. So we create Presto Blogs for you. Presto Blog is a blog page that we host for you, and it's created instantly the moment you send your newsletter out. Here's some sample layouts that can be completely customized with a color background. So what we did for what we'll do is take a look at your logo, and we'll pull out some color elements from there and see what design matches your website best, put that in as an accent color, and you can instantly have a blog page that'll look like this. Here's how one of them looks like in production. I've just blurred out the client's logo here, but they had some blue elements, so we just copied some of that blue onto the site and made it very simple for them to have a blog presence. You can also have the domain link right to your site. So up at the top, the URL bar will show blog.yourdomain. You can set that up using a CNAME. Just point blog.yourdomain to articles.presstacular.com. On the back end, we'll set up a vhost. So this way, you reinforce your brand even with your URL. The nice thing about this is now on your website, you can have a link that says blog and link that right to your blog page, and you'll have that presence. It makes it very simple to create that. There's another tool that we have called Auto Publisher. I'm going to switch back to my my screen to take a look at the Auto Publisher feature. You saw me create the newsletter in literally a couple of minutes. Well, sometimes if you don't have that couple of minutes, you can actually use our auto publisher feature. This is what a lot of clients are finding very useful. I can set my newsletter up to automatically go out on, well, let's just say the second Tuesday of the month. And you might recall some of these article tags from the newsletter, the content that I popped up. You can say, well, I'd like to have articles on the following topics. And all you need to do is just click on these, and our system will automatically find content that resides in these and create your newsletter for you. You can also set up a default subject line and assign which email template that you want this newsletter to be created from. And we'll take care of that for you. We can set this entire page up for you if you'd like. What happens next is 2 weeks before the second Tuesday of the month, our system will generate an email newsletter and send you a preview of it. If you like it, well, you're done. You don't have to do anything more. On the second Tuesday, it'll go out automatically to your contacts. If you find that you want to make some changes to it, then you've got 2 weeks to log back into your Presstacular account, unschedule the message, and make any edits that you'd like. This makes it very simple so that you'll have your newsletter going out like clockwork every single month. One of the big things you'll want to do is start looking at your data. When you send your newsletter out, Presstacular does all kinds of tracking. And you want to monitor your opens and your clicks so that you can see who is actually reading your messages, which articles they're clicking on, and who's most likely ready for a sales call. I mean, there's only so much time in the day, and you want to spend that time talking to people who are really ready to buy your services. So you can see who's clicking, who's opening, who's engaged. Average open rates, by the way, hover in the 10 to 15% range. That's pretty typical. Click rates kind of all over the map. And also, just because you don't see someone clicking, that doesn't mean that you're not having an impact on them. Just the fact that they're opening your newsletter gives you that extra touch point every single month, and that builds mind share for your company. You might have heard of that marketing axiom that says it takes 7 touch points till someone remembers who you are, and sometimes more before they're ready to buy from you. Well, your Presstacular newsletter does this for you like clockwork every single month. You won't miss a beat. The data our system reports is very useful. Now, I've masked out the actual recipients' names here for privacy, but let's see what's behind the data. If I clicked on one of my contacts' email addresses that's shown here, I can see their activity. So let's say that you met somebody 3 or 4 months ago. They weren't quite sales ready at the time, so you put them on your newsletter list. Well, now you can see if they're really engaged. If you see that they keep clicking on your cloud or your data backup articles, it's probably a safe bet that if you call them up, you could have a fairly productive dialogue. You can't get this information by sending through Outlook or some other bulk email tools, maybe the one that's tied to your PSA system. Now, when you call them up, I wouldn't say something like, hey, I saw you clicked on my data backup article. That's a little creepy, right? You don't want to say that. But you can easily say something like this. Hi, Joe. We met a few months ago at the name your event, and we're starting to see a lot of companies like yours look into data backup to maintain business continuity. It helps business owners sleep better at night. I was wondering, have you explored a business case for this at your company? The really neat thing about the way this question is phrased at the end is that you're talking about money. Have they explored a business case for this? Because oftentimes when they hire your IT services, not only are they going to sleep better at night, they're going to save money because it's much more efficient to do that than to hire a full-time in-house IT person that may not know all of the different types of things that are going on. And what if they get hit by a truck? That's pretty bad. So you can close with something like, well, one of the things my company does is a risk assessment, and go on with your dialogue. This is a really big shortcut in your sales cycle. So instead of spinning your wheels on prospects who aren't really engaged, Presstacular shows you exactly where your lowest hanging fruit is so that you can hone in on them and start that sales dialogue. Also, when you follow up with somebody, a lot of times people just say, hey, just checking in on that proposal. Did you have any questions? Well, if they had questions, they probably would have gotten back to you by now. So you can send a note like this. Hi, Joe. I thought you might find this article useful. And then send off something that you've got in your Presstacular account, like 7 files you should back up nightly or something else that's more intuitive. One of our clients, Scott Bechtel, sent an article about CryptoLocker a while back to his contacts. Some of the people were his customers, some people that he had prior contact with. His email warned people about the threat of CryptoLocker, how it spreads, how to protect themselves. And by using Presstacular, he was able to put all that educational information and get it out to his audience very quickly. It only took him, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes to do because he wanted to edit the article a little bit. That included the time to review the article. So this did three things simultaneously. First, it educated his contacts about the threat, which created awareness. Remember, we talked about that process. How do people buy your product? It created awareness. Second thing it did is it positioned him as an expert and a trusted source to go to. So that went to the next stage of that sales cycle. And third, it provided him with a list of contacts who were interested because he could see all those metrics. Prestacular's reports provided all of that data to him in real time. And so he didn't need to waste his time calling hundreds of people or however many people in his contact list was. In a matter of minutes, he was able to narrow down his efforts to focus on the lowest hanging fruit, the people who were interested. It's got a small company, possibly like yours, a few people in it, and he was able to market like a big company using Presstacular. Let me read to you what Scott said about this. These are his words. We had a huge response to our CryptoLocker article that resulted in many phone calls with questions and concerns. This led us to winning 6 new clients from people whose current IT company had not informed them about it. In 2 cases, they weren't even aware of the CryptoLocker threat. Our newsletter generated almost $5,500 in new project business within a week. And with the new clients that we're getting, 3 are moving to our fully hosted cloud solution, and others have 3 more have are going to our managed services solutions. So for basically about 10, 15 minutes worth of work with Presstacular, we generated over $75,000 in new annual recurring revenue. That's pretty impressive. I'm not kidding about how big the opportunity becomes when you start marketing instead of waiting for referrals. When you think about it, an average client might stay with you for, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 years. So with this email, Scott just generated probably $500,000 in customer lifetime value. Another thing you can do is offer incentives. So if you wanted to contact someone, or if someone wanted to fill out your contact form rather, don't just post up a generic form with a submit button. Give people a reason to fill it out. So the blogs that you've got and the white papers that we've got with Presstacular, there's different service levels. Everything I've shown you so far is included in our silver service level. Many of our clients, actually probably the majority of them, upgrade to the gold service level because that gives them access to another wealth of material, white papers, guides, and so on. So you can use these as incentives to sign up to get people to sign up for your newsletter. Here's an example of how one of our clients is using it. They're taking the white papers and putting it up on their website and then having the sign-up form on the left side. And by the way, Presstacular includes the sign-up form code too. You just copy and paste that and drop that right onto your website. This makes it very, very simple for you to have all of that material available to you. Quite handy to have. Let me show you what some of this material looks like. Here's a Windows Server 2003 end of support marketing kit that we created. This is a Word document that you can edit. So if you wanted to change this to say how it will impact your business, maybe change it to how will it impact your law firm, your nonprofit, your accounting company, you can make all kinds of changes to it. It's got all the content, the reference material in there. You can add in a case study, put in a client testimonial about something that you did. This is a great leave behind. So instead of just going to a client and saying, oh, here's our brochure, you can leave behind a white paper. We've got others too. For example, the data backup marketing kit has information about cloud-based data backup. By the way, these kits also come with PowerPoint slide decks. So if you wanted to become a speaker and do a presentation, you could do that too. So you go to your local chamber of commerce or your local accounting practice association. They're always looking for good speakers, and we'll provide you with a slide deck to use. And since it's in PowerPoint, you can take out a slide, add a slide, makes it very simple. Our gold package above also includes our Executive's Guide to IT Terminology. You and I probably know what elastic cloud is, what zero-day vulnerability is, but your clients may not. So this IT terminology guide gives them that insight. This is a document they'll get and probably not throw away. They're going to stash it in their desk somewhere, and it's going to have your branding all over it. In fact, we've got a couple of different formats of this. One is the standard letter size, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that you can print out, but we also have other sizes. So if you wanted to make this into a pocket guide that you folded in half and had printed at your local printer, you can do that too. We even have the international A5 size version of this, so you can have it printed. We'll also create a custom branded infographic for you that you can put onto your website, and we also have a printable version of this that you can share with your contacts too. So it makes it very simple for you to have a lot of marketing material without having to hire people to do all that work yourself. So the marketing kits include all of this material, as I'd mentioned. Here's something you can say to get yourself booked as a speaker. And by the way, if you give a talk at one of these local associations, everybody in that audience is going to be a qualified prospect for you. So you can say, hi, this is Joe from this company. I've got a presentation that your members might find really useful. They might like to see. Microsoft's ending support for Server 2003 in mid-July. Almost 10 million servers still run Server 2003, and we're seeing many medical practices being affected by this because it can put HIPAA compliance at risk. My presentation talks about the risks and helps chart a path for your members to make sure they're not adversely impacted. Would you be interested in a presentation about this at your next meeting? Well, if you send a note like this to a handful of people in your local area that run associations, and you can tweak this, this one's targeted to medical practices. You could do the same thing for accounting practices, for law practices, nonprofits, manufacturing companies. There are many associations just in your general area that you could target. Well, you'll have a new group of people that you can target every single time. At the end of the presentation, you can say something like, hey, by the way, I know I covered a lot of material in this talk. Just give me your business card, and I'm happy to send you a white paper on the topic that goes into it in more depth. Well, everybody whose business card you collect is a qualified prospect, and you can start sharing your newsletter with them so that you stay in touch with them and stay top of mind. Here's what one of our clients found through experience. He started using Prestacular's IT content a little while back, and he's seen a 100% increase in unique page views to his website. Plus, and this is really interesting, a 250% increase in online conversions. These are the people that found useful content on his site, and they contacted them through their contact form. I mean, think about it. How many people are filling out your contact form right now? Here's someone who started using Prestacular and has seen a 250% increase already. People that he doesn't know now are contacting him through his website. Well, Prestacular is great at doing the marketing for you. There's one thing that it can't do, and that's close a sale. That requires you to talk to someone. So you're going to have to invest your time in that. It is your business after all. So it sounds a little silly, and first time I actually saw this stat, I was pretty surprised. But 36% of leads are never followed up. So by using Prestacular, you're going to start to see where your lowest hanging fruit is. Just make sure that you've got a process in place so that you can follow up with people. And as a bonus for attending this webinar today, send us an email, send it to support@prestacular.com, and write the words marketing plan template on your subject line. We will send you a copy of a complete marketing plan template. It's a 12-month guide. It's a checklist, basically, of things you can do every single month. And at the end of that couple of months, you'll start to see a lot of traction happen with your marketing efforts. So getting started with Prestacular is very easy. Just send an email to sales@mailermailer.com. And in the subject line, say send order form, and put in your message, your contact information and your message text, and we'll get an order form out to you. It's a real quick one-pager where you just fill out your contact information and a few other details, and we'll get you started. You can also take a look at our book called the IT Marketing Crash Course. It's been a #1 bestseller on Amazon. Go to itmarketingbook.com. It's a complete roadmap on how to grow your technology business. We also have a 30-day money-back guarantee for Prestacular. So if you'd like to try it out in the first 30 days, if for whatever reason you're not happy, just let us know and we'll give you all of your money back. It is unconditional. So sales@mailermailer.com, send order form, and we'll get that order form out to you. If you're already a client and you have some support related questions, send an email to support@presstacular.com, or you can go online to our support section, and there's a way to reach us there as well, contact information as well as our phone number for dialing in. Thank you for joining me today. Looking forward to seeing you on future webinars.